So, Mr. Dom Cummings has been running his mouth this week about the government's handling of the coronavirus. So, this week, Mr. Dominic Cummings has been running his mouth about how badly the government have dealt with the coronavirus situation. For those of you that don't know Mr. Cummings, he's the ex-chief advisor for the Prime Minister. Here's some actual footage of him advising at number 10.
Yes, we should cut the niceties and get straight to sacrifice yourself for the good of the hive.
Right, and by hive you mean?
I mean future of the hive. I mean country. Are you dissatisfied with me? Perhaps you would like to fire me.
I'm laughing at that, but I'm also laughing at this dickhead here that's decided to park himself right in the middle of where the people need to cross their road because he's stuck in traffic. What an idiot. So yeah, Mr. Cummings there, the ex-chief advisor to the Prime Minister. This is embarrassing, isn't it? Isn't it embarrassing? This type of thing is playing itself out over every single playground, school playground in the country right now. I mean, this guy doesn't want to let me through. It's so embarrassing. It's schoolyard stuff, isn't it? You fall out with your friends and then you go straight to the teacher, start dobbing them in and telling them all the stuff that they've done wrong. Yeah, it's just so embarrassing. The thing is, it's not like Dominic Cummings has got a good reputation to uphold these claims. You know, I mean, they're obviously right. I mean, we know they're all right. Let's just go through some of the things that he's claimed. So the main thing was that the government were going for a herd immunity policy for the coronavirus right up until the end of February, even after the advisors telling Boris Johnson that he needs to take this seriously. He's saying, you know, don't worry about it, it's just another swine flu. So the government acted to it late and thousands of people died unnecessarily because they weren't adhering to warnings. It's obviously true, isn't it? I mean, anyone that's really taken notice. I mean, I even remember at the time last year, because all the news was about what's going on in Spain and Italy, and I'm thinking we need to be doing the same here. But yeah, I mean, that's obviously true. The other things is that he basically just wanted to completely bash, let's let these people cross, completely bash Matt Hancock, saying that the guy's completely incompetent. He made quite a drastic claim that he held back on the test and trace system because he wanted to hit his 100k testing quota, therefore putting lives at risk. I mean, this is pretty serious stuff. I mean, this is people's lives. I mean, the one thing that you want the government to get right, I mean, when we pay our taxes, we enter into an agreement with the government, right? That, you know, there's certain things that they're going to do for us in exchange for our tax money. And number one is protect us from death. I think is pretty much number one. And they're failing to do that. But will people care again about this story? The same thing with Boris Johnson and his doing up his flat and getting Tory donors to pay for his flats. Are people going to care about this? I mean, I care about it, but I think the only people that care about it are the people that already hate Boris Johnson and the Tory party anyway. They're not going to sway any decision. And what upsets me the most is that the BBC still are just not reporting on this. I mean, they're reporting on it, but just take a look at this news article. They're doing an article on Dominic Cummings' credibility, not on the fact that the government are incompetent.
The shelling of this building was intense and the defences are now in place. Dominic Cummings clearly has the power to disrupt, but there's growing confidence here that his ability to wound, let alone score, a fatal political blow may not be as great as he'd hoped.
His credibility is undermined, first by the fact that, he went to Bernard Castle and that caused chaos. Secondly, by the fact that, he's no longer there and he's picking a fight with his ex-colleagues. And thirdly, the credibility is undermined by the fact that he seems to have friends of Dom and non-friends of Dom. And look, Boris is looking powerful at the moment. He's come through, he might have lost a few battles, but he's come through the war looking strong. The vaccine is going really, really well. So we still have a strong Prime Minister.
BBC just never ever seem to challenge the government at all, do they? I've just noticed there's like a little wedding going on here. That's quite nice. Nice wedding on the seafront. But yeah, the BBC can never challenge the government. They always have to be on their side. And it's just getting worse and worse and worse. I only noticed it a little bit before, but I'm just noticing it more and more. I can't help but just watch that skateboarder just go underneath the camera there. If you just spotted that was quite funny. But yeah, so after all this happens, what do the government do? They decide to wheel out Matt Hancock for the press release.
Yesterday, we saw 3,542 new cases, the highest since the 12th of April. The variant first identified in India, so-called B1617.2, is
0.7.2. What is it with this guy? He is literally the most incompetent public speaker in the world. Why are they wheeling this guy out? Well, I know why, and I'll get to that into a second. But it's just terrible, isn't it? He can't not look at his notes for 2 seconds. Every single other word, he has to look down at his notes to know what he's talking about. So he obviously hasn't debriefed and doesn't really have any clue of what he actually wants to talk about. But it just reeks of just being absolutely insanely nervous and not really know what you talk about. Like I say, he's looking at his notes every 2 seconds. He's emphasising every other word. The variant first discovered in India, and he's terrible. But yeah, they're wheeling this guy out because it's obvious what's going to happen, and it's absolutely obvious what's going to happen. He's going to take the fall for all of this. The whole government were completely incompetent, including Dominic Cummings. But it's going to be Hancock that takes the fall. That's why we're wheeling him out. They're wheeling him out now, and he's going to take the fall, and he's going to get fired, and none of the stink is going to be left on anyone else in the government.
Hey everyone, let's all banter Hancock.
Ow! Yay! I'm part of the gang! I'm part of the gang!
Any excuse to get that in. But I'll just end on one last thing. I thought it was quite interesting that Dominic Cummings was talking quite favourably about Rishi Sunak and kind of left him out of everything. I guess he kind of knows something we don't. I guess Rishi Sunak may be next in line to be Prime Minister after Boris. So Dominic Cummings, don't think that he's some kind of like WikiLeaks angel or something that's putting himself on the line to throw the government down. He's doing this for his own gains. Of course he is. Why else? Why else would he be doing this? He's doing it for himself. He's out of a job at the moment, isn't he? He wants to make sure he has one when Boris is done. Anyway, as usual, comment down below, let me know what you think. Till next time.